So could the financial system finally starting to show a little bit of a crack? So last night, Wednesday night, SVB announced a $1.75 billion share sale to raise money for their cash burn. Everyone's pulling their money out between the tech woes and the Federal Reserve raising rates to give other avenues of investments better than banks. Like if you keep raising the treasuries up to 4 or 5, I mean, I think the 10-year treasury is over 5%. Why wouldn't you do that when you put it in a bank? So everyone's pulling out. All the banks are feeling that. But I guess because SVB is so connected to tech, who is laying off and running out of money, I think that just exacerbated the whole thing. And then this morning, the CEO comes on and says, please don't take your money out. We're still strong. They tell the VC firms, don't withdraw your money. We're still good. That usually is like a sign of panic. Whenever somebody says, please keep your money in here, people start panicking. And then the whole bank index, the biggest 4 banks all dropped. SVB dropped by 50% in stock price. And this may be the effect of the Fed keeping raising rates. Everyone's pulling money out of all the banks. Now, what happens is, so right now the money leaves the banks, and as long as they have the money, they're good. And even if the bonds they own as assets are dropping in price, as long as they don't sell those bonds, the banks don't have to report a loss. Because if they're going to hold it to maturity, they're going to get their $1,000 back per bond, and it's not a loss. And they can do that. They're allowed to exclude that from their financials. But now they had to actually start selling it. And SVB had to sell a bunch of assets for I think a $500 million loss. No, I was wrong. $2 billion they lost from selling assets. So that took a big hit. And then that started a run where all the bank stocks started dropping. The market dropped. The S&P actually dropped down 6%. 1% away for doing that circuit breaker shutdown for 15 minutes. It's funny, in my live, someone mentioned this happening, and I didn't even think about it because I was teaching all day. I thought they're talking about Silvergate, which didn't help. Silvergate is like one of the largest tech crypto banks, was winding down because they're losing money. So that's what they were talking about. I said, who cares? It's crypto. And then I realized this is a big deal. This is the start because the Federal Reserve raising rates. It takes a little while. We're raising rates, and you need the economy to slow down a little bit. And that's what's happening. Now the banks are starting to take losses when they could just have it sort of on the books and not really be a loss. Now they're actually having to realize the losses and they're taking the hits. And I'm not saying SVB is going to stay around or not stay around. But all the venture capitalist people are saying, pull your money out because it's not safe. That could be strictly a panic move and not mean anything, or it could just be sharks smelling blood in the water. So let's keep an eye on the banks to see if the Federal Reserve keeps jacking up rates if the banks start taking a hit.